Good morning. Woo! It is truly an honor and a dream to be able to stand here in Dallas and to speak in front of you today. My name is Alessio Sincore, a recent graduate from the Taravella High School and the Academy of Finance in Coral Springs, Florida. I cannot believe that the NAF team selected me to share my story with over 1,000 people. It's crazy because when I look back to my 8th grade classes, I used to insecurely say, every other word, and I was laughed at during presentations. The only advice I got was, don't say very helpful. However, when I presented in my NAF classes, I knew I had an audience that was supportive of me and would give me specific feedback like becoming comfortable with silence. I'm saying this because my ability to speak here itself is a testimony of how this academy has transformed me from a boy to a young man, and has also guided my passion for becoming an entrepreneur. I was born in Florida. My mom, Monica Sincore, who's actually in the room, is from El Salvador, and my dad is from Italian Cuban parents, and I have a younger brother and sister. My dad is an accountant, and he used to take on these disaster relief projects. He accepted a 1-year contract out of state and moved the family to Texas. I was a 5th grader at the time, and all the neighborhood kids were a few years younger than me, so I was their leader. One afternoon, I got bored of playing Foursquare, and I had an idea to gather everyone and watch some cars, have a little fun, help out the neighborhood, and maybe even get paid for it. So I got my brother, sister, and 10 neighborhood kids to join in. We washed 2 cars. It was a success. I remember coming home back that evening all sweaty, feeling accomplished with 2 crusty hard-earned dollars in my hand. It was the first time I had ever earned real money, and I was so captivated by this concept of business. I showed it to my mom and my dad, and they were really impressed. They congratulated me and called me an entrepreneur. From there, I continued my entrepreneurial experiments. I sold stuff around the house on eBay, repaired iPhones, and I even got paid to play video games for other people. I know, there's an actual market for that. Now, I hate to admit it, especially to a room full of educators, but I wasn't the biggest fan of school. I just felt like I was never going to use this stuff in the future. I'm sure you guys heard similar stories from students before. However, this completely changed when I entered high school and I saw that there was a NAF Academy of Finance. One of the first courses listed was entrepreneurial principles. I was like, wait, hold on. They actually got entrepreneurship in high school? I had never seen anything like this, and I lived in Texas, New York, Louisiana. I thought I was going to have to wait for college. In fact, most colleges didn't even have entrepreneurial courses. So without hesitation, I signed up. About halfway into my first year, we had an elevator pitch activity, and the winner would be given the opportunity to create their very own business plan. One thing you should know about me is that I'm a hardcore gamer. I used to play Call of Duty for hours a day. But by the time I got into high school, I eventually started developing back problems and severe eye problems to the point where I just could not play games. So my idea that I pitched in the activity was to start a paintball field that would be like playing video games, but in real life. The mission was to prevent gamers from ending up with damaged bodies like me and poor social interaction from video game addiction. I won the contest, and my teacher recommended I do some research. So I started researching the heck out of paintball and laser tag. I eventually landed on a technology at the time that did not exist in the US, but was used in other countries like China and Australia. Essentially, it was a paintball blaster that was less painful, didn't have stains, and could be replicated from video games. From what I had learned from the class and previous experience, I was confident that I could bring this technology into the US and build a business, but I needed a plan and capital. As a result of investing and saving from what I learned from the Academy of Finance, I eventually had enough to buy and import some samples from a factory in China that produced this technology. Now, the 2020 school year was approaching, and it was going to be fully online because of the pandemic. Long story short, after convincing my parents, I decided to drop out of school in the 11th grade so I could work full-time on my business. I know. With all my spare time, I tried getting a job because my parents said I would have to help by paying one of the bills, and my business was not generating profits. I applied everywhere, but nobody hired me, not even McDonald's. I had a bare resume. I was stuck in that, how do I get job experience if the job requires job experience paradox? And that's when reality hit. All my friends were in school, and for my business to operate and generate profits, I needed about $500,000 in startup costs, architects, engineers, programmers, attorney, and a US manufacturer. I realized I was not future ready, at least not yet. I needed my friends, mentors, job experience, and a network to find my people, and probably that diploma too. And thank God I was able to connect the dots and realize that the NAF Academy of Finance had offered all those opportunities, and for free. So after barely surviving a week as a dropout, I went back to school with a future-driven purpose. I chose to do my junior NAF internship with Starbucks because out of all the jobs available, I knew that this company had its customer service to the T and was successful. When I did my interview over a Teams meeting online, the manager was happy to see me dressed to impress with a tie on, no less. It was through the NAF Academy that I learned how to dress professionally for job interviews and other functions. Senior year, it was prime time. It was the first year back in school, in person, and the final course of the NAF track was Virtual Enterprises International. It is a class that's set up like a company where the students have to come up with a new business idea, run it, and compete against other companies, which are schools. My role was the vice president of finance, where I organized the company budgets, decided who we'd buy from, financial reporting, and led the analysts in my department. All the cool Wall Street stuff, I was doing it, and I absolutely loved it. We won first place in our region to compete in New York for national competition. Now, we didn't win at nationals, but what I learned, more importantly, was the day-to-day operations of a corporation. I also loved being surrounded by diverse and like-minded students. It was here that I made a lifelong best friend and business partner, Nikhil Singh. As I come to a close, I do not think I can find the words to describe how thankful I am to my teachers and to all you behind the scenes of this awesome organization. It was because someone stood up and said, I am going to teach entrepreneurship and finance so that I could have the chance to identify my talent, passion, and dreams, and what I can do to not only just make money, but that my passion can solve a problem in this world and help someone live a better day. Purpose. That someone who stood up is my NAF teacher, Mr. Costa. That someone is Miss Wilder. That someone is you. I graduated last month with a diploma, honors, NAF track certification, and police aid certification. Thanks. I'm the CEO, thanks. I'm the CEO and founder of Gelforce Tactical, a multi-$1,000 online business that supplies paintball equipment inspired from video games. By 2030, my plan is to expand and open up a physical field where gamers can play video games in real life. Now, as I face reality, I'm not scared. I embrace it. I'm future ready. Woo!